All right. So obviously you can hand build yours, but I do want to just kind of go over this because I think a lot of people will probably wheel throw. So on your teapot, when you throw the body of it, you want to make a little indentation at the very top here where your lid can sit right in. And so that's what we're gonna focus on today. If you have made a cylinder, like a tall 6-inch cylinder, you have already kind of worked on the skills that it takes to make the rounded body. We really want to focus on the top opening, not getting too wide because it needs to like come back afterwards. So I'm gonna make probably a larger teapot than that. Just gonna center. Now open. I'm gonna compress the bottom, make sure it's nice and strong so I don't get any cracks. It's not too thick, not too thin. I'm gonna take a little puddle out of it, and then I'm gonna pull up my walls. Now when I pull up my walls, I really don't wanna go out like a bowl. So I really wanna pretend you're throwing a cylinder, basically. So I'm compressing, pulling up at 3 o'clock, trying to make them nice and even. And I'm pushing mostly with my outside hand so that it goes up into the center. It's not going out at all. Because if I get kind of a bowl shape, it's a pain to get it to come back to your original for the opening. So once I have kind of even walls, then I can focus on the actual shaping of it. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna press out from the inside to get more of a belly there because I have a lot of clay. I might end up trimming off some of this. But I don't wanna widen the opening. I'm just pressing out with my inside hand. This is a pretty large teapot. Yours does not need to be this big. And I'm bringing it back together. I'm gonna collar it on the top to kind of get it to come back together a little bit. And then I'm probably gonna trim some of this top part off because I don't really need that. So I'm taking a needle tool and I think I'll trim right about here. That. Now I'm just trying for the shape that I want. I think this is the hardest part of throwing a teapot is just this top kind of circle, making sure that it's still pretty small. I'm just kind of collaring and pressing it down and in. You can kind of use a finger to hook around. Like that. It's pretty good. This is a lot larger than I would expect you to throw. I kind of, after making kind of a baby one, I wanted to try a big one. All right, so to shape it, sometimes I like to use this metal rib just to kind of get that curve. I kind of force it into a bend. can be kind of nice and spherical. And then I'm going to show you the kind of toughest part about this is making that indentation, and this is something that I can help you with if you have trouble. So what I do is I take my left hand and I kind of crook it into a J, and I hook it around like that, and then I'm going to get it wet so it kind of slides through, and then I take my right hand and I'm pressing down on the inside, so I'm kind of squeezing it down and making a little shelf for my lid to sit on, like that. Does that make sense? It's a little bit tricky, but I can help you if you have troubles with that part. That is the body of mine. Now my next step would be throwing the lid, and for the lid, I need to know how wide this hole is and how wide this hole is, because when I actually make this to fit in, I'm gonna make the bottom circle smaller than that so it drops in, and the bigger, wider circle needs to fit the wider, this bigger circle here, so I can make it fit perfectly. But I'm gonna do that the next time. So that is throwing the body of a teapot. So I would wrap this up, I would trim it the next day, just like you trim everything, and then you're working on a lid and handle and all that jazz. Sound good? All right.
I was 6 minutes late.